Welcome to Girls Gone Hallmark, a Hallmark review podcast crossing over into the world of PBS masterpiece. I'm Megan, and I'm a longtime Hallmark fan.
I'm Wendy. I'm a former Hallmark hater.
On today's episode, we are discussing the PBS masterpiece series The Forsytes, episode 2, which originally aired on PBS on Sunday, March 29th. If you want to watch it, it's currently streaming on pbs.org or the PBS Passport app.
Is the entire series available or no?
I do not believe so.
Okay.
PBS.org has the episodes available for free for only a 14-day window after they air. So after that, you will need the PBS Passport app. Or you can record it on your local PBS station. They are re-airing several days after their original airing. Hey, if you're new to us, we're Megan and Wendy. We're the team behind Girls Gone Hallmark, which is not just Hallmark reviews. The best way to keep up with us is over on Instagram, where we are Girls Gone Hallmark.
Hey, we have an email address. We'd love for you to write into us. It's hello@girlsgonehallmark.com. Tell us what you're thinking about the Forsytes or any of the other PBS or Hallmark movies we're reviewing. We'd love to hear from you, what your thoughts are on the entertainment. We are always interested in your opinions.
All right, let's jump right into our talk on the Forsytes episode 2 with a synopsis.
After a family night at the opera, Jo makes a life-changing discovery while Soames, smitten with Irene, makes a hasty decision.
Ooh! Our regular cast returns with a few new additions not previously mentioned in last week's episode, beginning with Dexter Seaton as Joss. This is his only acting credit.
Tilly Walker plays Holly. Tilly has 8 previous acting credits, including the movie The Conjuring, Last Rites. She also has 3 upcoming projects.
That's a real different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Flatters plays June's potential love interest, Philip. Jamie has 15 acting credits, including Avatar: The Way of Water and Avatar: Fire and Ash.
Tallulah Evans plays Olivia Carteret. She has 14 previous acting credits, including a Paramount Plus series called Girl Taken and the horror movie Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
What?
I didn't realize there was even such a thing.
Slasher Winnie the Pooh? Yikes.
Apparently so.
George Lamaman plays Horatio Carteret. He has 4 acting credits, with this being his biggest project. We are going to take a quick break, and we are going to come right back with our first impressions of episode 2 of The Forsytes. Hey, Wendy, hit me with your first impression of The Forsytes, Ep 2.
Last week I said, Soames Hive, rise up, but actually sit back down, because Jo discovering that he has kids and handles it with actual feelings has made me sort of switch sides.
Team Jo!
I don't know. I'm so conflicted.
My first impression is I can see the catastrophically bad decisions coming our way, and I'm nervous.
But it's so delicious.
Oh, it's great.
Right?
It's great. I'm tuning in. I'm tuning in.
I know.
Let's talk about that scene where Jo meets the children. I mean, I know we're jumping really far ahead, but we got to talk about it.
I thought it was really good.
You're right. When he meets them and gets down on their level and is stunned by their presence and not afraid of them and instead wants to know them. Oof.
It was great. But then Louisa's like, all right, you gotta leave out the back, dude.
Yeah. So Louisa is interesting to me because she's so much stronger than Jo is.
Yeah.
Jo's just this idealist. He's like, love will find a way. And she's like, yo, I'm a lady's maid. This is not going to work. Your family will never let it. And it's almost frustrating to the point to which Jo isn't willing to accept the reality of their future.
Right.
And she tells him over and over again, you're going to go back to your life and there won't be a place for me in it. And he gives her what I feel is false hope. Because if at their end of their goodbye, she's like, I will come to you.
Yeah. I'm like, what is Jo thinking? You're married, sir. I get that you have just realized you have 2 children, but also you're married and you have a stepdaughter who is seen as a Forsyte. So what are you going to do here?
Okay, I hear what you're saying. That leads me to a question I have later, but I'll ask it now. I don't think Joe has done anything wrong up to this point.
I don't think Joe's done anything wrong either.
I think he's behaving dangerously going to the shop. And of course, when we see James, his uncle, see him and put all the pieces together, he sees Joss. I assume he sees that Joss resembles Jolyon. I don't necessarily think he does, but I think that's the connection he's making. Plus, he knows that the family was talking about Joe and how he connected with Louisa at the party. And, we just kind of see him like, mwahaha, right? Seeing what's happening there. I think Joe is kind of reacting the way I want him to.
Yeah, he could be a total D-bag and be like, those aren't my kids. I don't want anything to do with you, blah, 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 blah. But obviously it's like set up that Louisa is the one that got away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even though her lot in life is different than his, which she sees as reality, but he's, like you said, such an idealist. He's like, no, it can happen. But like, he's also married. What is he going to do? Leave his wife?
Well, yeah, so agree. What is he going to do? What's happening here? Because when he goes back to Louisa, when he goes to her shop, he doesn't know about the children yet. He doesn't find out about the children until the very end of this episode. And so that's the part to me where she's like, you can't keep coming back here. But now that he knows about the children, to me, it's two separate things. What are we going to do about your relationship with Louisa? And what are we going to do about these children? Because he does not seem to be in a position to walk away from knowing them.
Right.
Like he says something to Francis, and he says, I can't wish away two human beings.
Yeah, that's a good line.
It is a good line. It's messy, though. It's messy because Francis is like, you need to promise not to divulge this information to anyone. And I'm like, yo, that's never going to happen.
Well, and that's what is so interesting about Frances as a villain, because she's concerned about her own status, right?
Yes.
I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think it's all tangled up because her own status is tied to Joe's status.
Right.
And we see the way she conspires with Joe Sr. in this episode to me, it has romantic undertones, the way they spend time together.
Yes, I agree. Something feels off there.
She was brought into this marriage for a purpose. And while they do show themselves having genuine affection for each other, I don't think Joe sees this purely as a marriage of convenience. But like you said, this is the one true love of his life, Louisa.
Uh-huh.
And Frances talks in a different scene. Frances talks to
June.
Yeah. And she basically says, like, you get one soulmate. And Joe and I love each other, but your father was it for me, kind of, was the message there.
No, I read it as
Joe's her soulmate?
Joe was her soulmate. Yes.
Maybe I
But wouldn't it be so scandalous if Joe Sr. was her soulmate?
Oh.
Do you think it could ever go that way? Like, do you think they would be having like some sort of romantic affair like all these years?
Oh, you think it's happening? Like it has been happening?
I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't see that as currently happening, but I've been wrong before. I do see it as a potential possibility. I just think if you watch The Pit, there's all these like wild, outlandish theories about what's happening. And sometimes like baby Jane Joe is just an abandoned baby. She's not the baby of some other, right? It's not anything bigger than that. So I hesitate to get too far ahead of myself. And I feel like it's romantic, but perhaps it's just that they're working so closely together toward the common goal of elevating Jolyon to the head of the Forsyte clan, so to speak, that that's their number one goal. I mean, we've seen so far in these 2 episodes, love and happiness is not the number one goal of anybody except for maybe Soames at this point.
Oh, can we talk about Soames for a second?
Yes.
So him and Irene, is this going to go badly? Because he seems to be all in, and like Irene, when he like presents her with, I mean, I guess a proposal-ish. I don't know exactly, but, and he's like, and then we could be together and we can go to Paris. And if you're unhappy, you're free to go, blah, 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 whatever. But, and she's like, this is so unexpected. Was she not feeling the romantic vibes between them, or what is going on?
These are clearly dates. Like, you're on a boat on the water.
Duh. Yeah.
He's buying you ballet slippers. Like, this man is smitten. See, it's so interesting because last episode you're like all in on Soames, and I'm like, Soames will grow in me. So this is the episode, like the swoony Soames is the Soames that I'm a fan of. The one who's like,
his monologue to her I thought was great. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and this is a different Soames this is Soames with a different motivation than we've seen him before, because prior to this we see him scheming with his father and talking with his father, and he's all business and all about what's the best for the business and what's the best thing for me in the business. But with Irene, he's all heart. He's not thinking about the best thing for the family. And clearly, behind the scenes, his mom and his dad and even his brother and sister-in-law are talking about, oh, Olivia Carteret. And they're, and he DGAF about that lady.
Yeah.
And his mom's like, ooh, Soamesy's in love. And I'm like, what are you? Pay attention. Also, if I may, what was going on with her hair?
Oh, I didn't notice.
Oh my gosh. You have got to go back and look at her hair before the ball. It's basically her hair is turned into a giant bow on top of her head.
Oh, interesting.
It's wild.
I wonder if that's of the time or not.
Or it's just this woman is
kooky,
a piece of work.
Yeah, I mean, she's really into her dog and stuff.
Really? When he's like, oh, perhaps I can stay home with the dog and pet it. It just, I don't know what it was. He was like, please don't make me go.
I don't want to be set up with Olivia.
Woof.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that whole Soames thing and Irene, it is interesting that she, roll it back, was she not seeing the potential of romance for 2 reasons? One, she thought he was going for Clarissa, her stepmother.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Come on. He's just being nice to her.
Right.
And 2, she knows who he is. She knows the Forsyte name. Is it that she thinks, well, we're ruined, so I'm not of use to him, so he couldn't be looking at me in that way? I mean, is it that her mind, she wasn't even open to that possibility because of those factors?
Yeah, that's maybe what I think. Maybe she just thought he was just being nice.
But, she's a main character. I assume she's in every single episode. And so something is going to be happening with her, although I don't know what.
I know. I'm very excited, actually. I'm very excited.
Yeah. Whose relationship are you excited to see the future of? Louisa and Joe, or Soames and Irene?
I don't, both.
Yeah.
It's like these 2 women that the family would not pick for their sons.
No.
Both redheads, by the way.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we do get mentioned in this episode about Renegade. I'm going to talk about that scene in a second, but I'm like, oh, maybe Joe and Soames are both renegades as well.
Interesting.
They want to do not what the family wants.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's so interesting because Soames is like, Joe just needs to get with the program and fall in line. And here he is doing his own damn thing.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to talk about the scene when June is so freaking adorable, first of all.
I love her.
She's like this MVP of the show. I think her and her stepdad, Joe, have more of like like a sibling kind of vibe.
Yeah.
The way, he's not such a father figure. He's more of like a confidant, like a older sibling would be. I really enjoy watching that. And so then at the end, when she feels like such betrayal, when she learns about, she overhears about Joe and the dressmaker, and like she's so upset about it, kind of feels heartbreaking. But June, when they're at the party or whatever, and she asks the young guy, the Carteret guy, Horatio, if he's ever read Frankenstein. And she makes this Frankenstein analogy about like it being so controlled, right? And it goes badly, which like she's completely clocked the system that she lives in. Like you had said, either it might have been this episode or the last one we did, but she has a mind of her own, right?
Yes.
And then she meets the guy on the stairs, Philip, who clocks her as being like, a rebel. Right. And then he's like, I think he calls himself a buccaneer. That's what he calls himself. Yeah. I had to pause and see like what he gave her because it was like so fast, but it was like for a meeting, ideals on socialism. I was like, okay, look at June. Like she may do something different here, like way against the family. Maybe she is like Joe in a lot of ways, even not being his actual biological daughter.
I think she is so much more like Joe than her mother.
Yeah.
Straining against the shackles of the life that they have been handed.
Yeah.
I thought it was nice to see that moment of teenage levity because she's 18 years old. Her mother is trying to marry her off, but she sees a cute boy and she's peeping him through the opera glasses. And it was nice to see her be young and a little smitten with
I
this
agree.
boy. I thought it was a nice scene, and she's so fun. I was so torn when she overhears Joe and Francis talking about Louisa and the children, and she's so hurt by that. And I was like, okay, but hear him out because he, again, hasn't done anything wrong. Like, everyone knows he had a life. Now, okay, is it scandalous that he has children? Yes. But A, he didn't know about them, and B, he didn't know about her mother before all of this. So I get that she feels threatened because she's like the child in his life. But in that moment, I was like, hold on. Give Joe a little bit of credit here. Like anytime someone's getting mad at him, I'm like, he didn't do anything wrong.
You're totally at his defense.
Yeah, I'm a Joe apologist at this moment.
You're funny.
I would just like to say the final shot of Frances all alone, spying all of Joe's Venice art. And just the washing over her of like why it's not just the place, it's the memories of the place that he keeps recreating. It was great.
Yeah, it was great. So subtle, but great too.
Yeah. And then the closing shot of Soames and Joe side by side on their terraces.
Yeah.
Both going through it. Loved it.
One of them's smoking, one of them's having a drink. Yeah. They're like, dude. Yeah, they probably have more in common than they want to let them allow themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they could like get their shit together, maybe they could like be a powerhouse business family, but there's so much infighting there.
I know. Just communicate, people.
Yeah, really. Okay, let's go on to wishes. This is a repeat of last week for me. I need to know clearer details of the family business. Yeah. I need to understand why Joe versus Soames matters other than like it's a pissing contest between these James and Joe Sr. That's what I need to know.
But almost it seems like James and Joe Sr. are on the same side. It seems like Joe's the only one who feels differently when they're having that conversation about the mining. And I was like, or the gold. Yeah, the mining, the gold. Mm-hmm. Again, I had to watch that scene twice and I still was like, I don't understand what the argument is here.
Yeah, it's unclear to me. I just need, give me 5 minutes. Give me,
It doesn't help for me that this is not a business that I would understand under the best of circumstances. I'm just not wired to fully understand the way this business works. So I wish the business were something that I could wrap my head around a little bit.
Like
more. What? I don't know. What? Are you making fun of me?
No, I'm hard pressed to come up with a business in this century, you know.
Yeah, I have to take myself out of my 2026 frame of mind. And I also have to wonder how strongly the details of the business do matter. And if it's just the family dynamics in the business. I'm trying to understand a little bit better the role of Isaac.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like he's a person that we don't know enough about. I think in the last episode, we talked about the very helpful definitive character guide on pbs.org. And Isaac is listed there. It says he's originally from Sierra Leone, adopted by a clergyman and brought to England for a gentleman's education. He's the in-house lawyer for Forsyte & Co., and he's Joe's best friend and confidant. I just think maybe it would be nice if we knew more about him. We learned that he and Joe were close because he recognized Louisa from Venice.
Yeah, they have a really quick scene, which they showed in episode 1-2 of them boxing each other. And they mentioned Oxford. So I believe they went to school together.
Oh, nice. Thank you. I kind of hope we get just a little more Isaac backstory, a little more about his relationship with Joe.
Yeah, I think, when Joe Sr. says something to Isaac, like he basically asks his opinion of Joe Jr.
And he comes to his defense.
Yeah, he had his back, totally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I would like more of that, more of their relationship.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to wishes in this episode, it's just like, give me more of the details. I just, let's get into it. That's really where my wishes are lying. And they're doing a nice job. I'm really enjoying the pacing of this and the doling out of the dramatic moments and the reveals.
So that's interesting when you mentioned pacing, because I do wish it was a tiny bit quicker.
Oh, gosh. Really?
It's slow burn. And I know that it's like character driven. I just feel like sometimes like tighten some stuff up.
Interesting.
I don't know. I wonder if it's
the language for you that makes it feel that way.
Maybe.
Yeah, to me,
not enough to turn me off.
No,
though,
I know. That's interesting. And I don't find it slow. And I also am watching it back to back with Count of Monte Cristo, which is very slow paced. And I do enjoy the pacing of that. I think it's appropriate. This just feels like to me, it just feels like there's a lot happening. And that's interesting that it feels slow to you.
But it's only episode 2. I know there's like a lot of things unfolding.
Yeah, and I think we're potentially going to really slow down in the next couple as we start to flesh some of these relationships out.
I think so too.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you care about the bluebird?
I understood the significance of it at the end, except I was like, meh.
I think they gave it too much weight.
I think so too.
Like I think it's a nice moment for June when she realizes like this was important to Joe. He's kept it all this time. Now she knows where it came from, right? Like he's held on to it. I think the significance of it for June helps solidify like how important Louisa is to Joe.
Right. Yeah.
But I was like, stop flashing on the damn blue bird.
You're like, okay, enough.
I understand the need for Joe's long hair during his time in Venice, but I hate it.
Oh, you don't like the little curls? It's so blonde too, right? Like he's been out in the sun, living the life.
I mean, it's clearly a wig. I just don't like it.
I don't. What else would you put on him?
No, I understand. I'm not suggesting that I just don't like it. I don't like the long hair. It's not his look. I'm sorry.
I don't hate it.
Interesting.
I don't hate it at all. I have some questions for you.
Okay.
If you're Louisa, do you let Joe back in your life?
No. In the Count of Monte Cristo, we talk a lot about what motivates your actions. And a lot of people are motivated by self-preservation. I think she says, like, I'm I'm ruined here. I'm the one who's the whore if this comes out.
Mm-hmm.
And the only, okay, yes, she loves him, clearly. Yes, her children potentially deserve a father, although she's a very wonderful mother, that's clear. So you got to weigh the cost. And to me, the cost isn't worth it, as hard as it would be. What do you think?
I mean, I don't know. This episode leans so heavily into soulmates, right?
Yeah.
Are Joe and Louisa soulmates? If that's your soulmate, she's been in love with this man since he left. She had his 2 children. Like, I think she's in love with him. But you're right about self-preservation. Like, she's like, what is she to do? You know what I mean? She's established herself as a fantastic dressmaker in this town. And if it all comes out, like, she's ruined.
We see how much power the family has over him. Even if Joe decides, I want us to be together, he may not have the power to make that happen. And all his power lies in the family. And if the family cuts him off, he has nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I just don't know.
I just don't want her to put her fate in the hands of this man, quite frankly.
What I don't want is to him carry on some sort of love affair.
No, I don't want that either.
Louisa, if he's married to
I don't want that either.
Francis, like that turns him into a not so great guy. You know,
Unless, what if we find out that Francis has not been behaving
appropriately.
Yeah. Yes.
If she's been doing the dirty with Joe Sr., then it's fair game, baby.
Yeah, an eye for an eye.
Maybe that's where we're gonna get. I don't know.
For a
God,
bang.
I gotta spoil. I gotta Google. Hold on a second.
No, don't do it. I'm gonna do it.
Just hold on a second.
Okay.
I just can't wait to watch this unfold. I'm super into it.
Yeah, I just want to. One line that I forgot to mention is before Joe realizes the children are his, or that she has children, he says, "Is the father dead?" And she says, "As good as." I was like, "Oh, that's a good line."
Yeah, I thought that was a good line too. I thought that was a really good line too. In that same scene though, like when little Holly's like, "Are you crying?" I was like, "He's not crying."
No,
There was not a tear shed. He's like, "Yes." I'm like, "No, you're not, dude."
it's like, these are happy tears. I'm like, huh.
Yeah,
These are no tears. Someone spray that man's face with a spray bottle.
exactly. But I enjoyed it. I will be back for episode 3 100%.
Yeah, we will. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of Girls Gone Hallmark. We will be back next week with all new reviews. Goodbye.
Bye.
All right, friends, before we go, just a quick heads up. You're about to hear some ads. These little gems help us keep the show running and the Hallmark love flowing. So do with that info what you will. Grab a snack, hit the skip button, or maybe, just maybe, listen in and discover your new favorite product. Bye.